in the browser and they can see the changes really immediately. Even though if you don't have the development mode in your user profile, you can even code from Eclipse, or even from the directly you can come here. Even though if your system, you can directly come here and you can directly write the classes and Visual Force pages here. These are pages and these are Apex classes. So the real advantage of the development mode is you can try the things really fast. You can code here and you can see the changes really immediately on the top half of the browser. The complete browser splits into two sections, two horizontal sections. The top thing is the preview and the below thing um, is the below thing is your code. Okay, I'll show that to you. I do have good, great, and great examples. I will start explaining it after going through the complete data types, tags in Visual Force pages. About I do have some uh, good slides for Apex. My new page one is our new page, our page which yesterday we have created this. Um, yeah, so this shows congratulations in a big text and some input text boxes. And I have made a sidebar equal to true. I have explained about the attributes here. Generally, people like used to learn this language. Means if you are doing more practice work, then you can become the expert in Salesforce.com coding like Apex and VF pages. As I said earlier, in the model view controller architecture, the page layouts, what we have done earlier by putting drag and drop stuff, right? And the VF pages, what I'm coding here. This is a VF page. This is not linked with any controller. See, I have not mapped any controller here. I'll show that attribute also. What is There are two type of controllers: standard controller and custom controller. So, what is standard controller? Um, Salesforce, when you are creating any objects and when you are creating there are there are many standard objects also in Salesforce, like accounts, contacts, leads, opportunities, and everything has a standard object already existing in Salesforce will provide some standard functions: save, edit, everything, like again displaying all the accounts in a list items by standard controller. Even the custom objects, what you are creating, right, they do have a standard controller. You can directly map like this: standard. So this is a standard controller. It automatically shows you if you are putting simple letters, right, it automatically recommends you there are which attributes are available in your VF pages. Okay, I'm just selecting standard controller. I can directly put account here, ACCOUNT. What happens if I put account here? So currently this page is not linked with any of the object. That is the reason the tab it's automatically linked with home tab. See, I'm just simply developing my VF page without any controller. If I'm putting on save, now this page is linked with account object. This is linking here. We are linking this page with the account object. The properties, every properties of this thing will be will see the blue color here. See the blue color here, right? Now after that, you can see the it's linked with accounts object. See, by default when I'm hitting this tab, it opens the account tab only because this is linked with account object, right? So I'm opening the same page in new tab. Earlier it's linked with home tab because it's not linked with any object. After linking this with account object, this is automatically the tab is enabled, account tab is enabled, and I'm showing the Visual Force page here. Okay, let's do one thing. I want to make stand training 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 underscore C. What happens now? This will link to training object. Oh, training does not exist. What happened? Let's go here and check the what is the API name of that training object. You have to properly give the API name. For standard objects, you won't be seeing underscore C because for identification they have not given underscore C. What are the custom objects what you are creating in Salesforce? It automatically creates appended with underscore C and spaces with underscore. Okay, this is my training object. Click on this. This is my API name. Why I'm not getting API name is, here is the reason. My API name is automatically appended with book9 underscore underscore because this is a manager package. I have taken the namespace as book9 underscore underscore thing. So every field in my organization will be added with book9 underscore underscore. Okay. So can someone tell me what is the reason? What is the use of this namespace? I already explained you when I'm explaining about the app exchange packages. Can someone tell me from the group the use of the name prefix in Salesforce? For suppose if you go to appexchange.salesforce.com, there are around 2000 applications. What if uh, each and every person is creating a object called programs? So I'm app exchange partner. In my package I'm creating a object called program that has API name called program underscore underscore c. So if you are installing if a customer is installing my application, the program underscore underscore object will be automatically installed with installation. What if that guy is already created program underscore underscore c object already in their organization? You will get some errors, right? That's the reason people, all the manager packages which are controlled by ISV vendors for automatically upgrade. So these guys can send automatic upgrades to your system. They do have complete control on your objects, what all they have installed on installation. That is the reason for identification specifically. So if you see, you cannot create a object or field name with um, xyz underscore underscore uh, training underscore underscore c. So you cannot create any, because if you are leaving some spaces, for suppose I cannot create a API name inside Salesforce with two underscores in between in between word names. So if I'm leaving space between book9 space account, I will get a API name book9 underscore account underscore underscore c, but I don't get book9 underscore underscore. So this underscore underscore is only it cannot be created manually. It can be created automatically by the system, right? For suppose average underscore training underscore underscore c is my actual API name. So this underscore underscore is appended by app exchange application, right? So after finishing this application, after my development in this organization, right, if some guy is installing this application in their organization, they will see book 9 underscore underscore. This is the reason. So with this, right, uh, the program object of my application and the program object of other application will not be merged actually, and there won't be any conflict between the objects if they have same name also, right? That is the reason, don't confuse in in the partner developer organizations what you have access. There are a lot of book9 underscore underscore thing for each and every field name, for each and every API object names also. Don't confuse with that. So this is automatically added to all the components inside this organization, because if you come here in the packages, there is a name prefix book9 which is already reserved for this organization. See here, Salesforce appends this prefix along with two underscore underscores to components that needs to be unique, such as custom objects and fields. Okay, it won't be added to all your standard objects like account, because it's same for all the organizations. Same way, this API, this manager package has named as ICC. So this will be shown on the top of on the top right corner of your organization, saying this is your developing ICC package. Okay. So again, coming here, there are a lot of packages. People develop a lot of packages here. Uh, these are all unmanaged packages. And coming to here, this is the beta manager package. ICC is a beta manager package. So I can create a package simply by grouping some objects, fields, and stuff, and tabs, all this stuff. Simply I can create a package for identification, all this stuff. But for making a app exchange package, you need to make a manager package. So this is the beta version of that. Okay, after beta version, I will be uploading one more new version for live version. Okay, I can put it on my app exchange, putting some logos and content like this. In the same way, I can release an application after you are done with some application. So after your complete course, right, let's do one thing. We'll create some, okay, we'll create some separate we'll work on some idea and try to release some application on app exchange. I will be helping you on that. I will share some requirement for each and every person in this trainings. You have to work on your own, from complete data model to the design part and the vf pages, apex classes, everything. Okay, and you will have some real understanding after that. So you will see what is Salesforce. And generally, when I'm teaching, you can easily know what's happening, what is this vf pages, all this stuff. But when you're trying to code, you don't know what to use at which requirement. You have to figure out, like, so this component you have to use here. You have to decide on this stuff. If you're really working, if you're practicing a lot, you will be getting more ideas on this. Coming back to our yesterday's class, we stopped here. So I think the reason why it's not accepting is I have to add book 9 underscore underscore. This I explained this. Okay. Um, okay. Um, let's save this. I'm expecting a positive error message here. Does not exist. Let's see. Come back to our custom object and copy this. Come here and paste this. So we have missed a S training says. Okay. Let's see. Let's click on save. Yeah, now it's perfectly saved, and this is linked with the training object. Can you see the styling? What happened to the styling here? The page component. This is the page block section. Do you remember this is a page block? It's earlier in green color, which is related to account. As I am linking this object to trainings, the CSS it automatically changed with change the colors all automatically change it to training stuff. Training has some purple color. Even the header line is also in the purple color. So it automatically inherits all the properties of the current object what you are linking here. Okay, and so there are two type of controllers. I thought of saying this, but I've went on explaining about the linkings of to the accounts. So this is how you are linking, and you are going to use standard properties of training object or account object, anything. Okay, and you can directly call save method here so that you can save the training record. What is custom controller? Okay, so in general company, right, so there will be three type of requirements. One is they just want a simple standard layout. You just you just go and create a object and create a page layout for that. And the second requirement is they don't want to go with the Salesforce UI, and they don't want to go uh, with the Salesforce CSS, everything. They want to go with custom CSS like this. They want some congratulations on the top of it. They want some CSS change in colors like this. Lot of custom. I will show that example to you. I'm functionality wise, you are not changing anything, but you want some different colors, different branding. Okay, in that cases, you're gonna use standard controller with some CSS. You are going to inherit some CSS. You are going to write some CSS properties here by putting some style tags. Okay, by putting some style tags, and you can write some JavaScript here to do some actions, all this stuff. That's generally useful for only changing the UI. So in this case, when I'm talking about view in the MVC architecture in the view, right, page layouts, VF pages comes into this part. Okay, later on, coming to the controller part, logic. Okay, the workflow rules, approval process, means the workflow rules mainly. It's also included with the approval process, and the Apex classes. Apex. So where so generally in Apex you are writing some logic. On click of some button, what you have to do? You have to do some operations. You have to do 2 to 3 operations. You can do that. You can increment a number. You can decrement some number. You can change some value. You can upload some image. Everything. This type of actions you can do on click of some button. That's completely written in Apex code. That's called controlling part. Your the logic is completely there. So visual workflow rules and the standard controlling part, save, edit button and all this is standard features. And the apex part is comes under controlling part. Okay. And what is a model part? Model part is simply what you have learned earlier. By dragging and dropping and creating objects, data model, relationships, everything comes under model, model of the data model of the project or the application. Okay. Now, yeah, so this is and standard controller, and there is custom controller. So when are we going to custom controller? Standard controller is only for changing the UI and for changing some JavaScript scripting on the client side, refreshing automatically, that type of actions, only the front end stuff. If you want to do some custom actions which cannot be done standardly, you have to go with a custom controller. So how you're going to write custom controller for that? For suppose this is I'm removing the standard controller. You cannot use both the things at once. Remove this, click on co. It automatically recommends controller here. This is the controller attribute. I'm just keeping uh, controller as um, my new page, my new sorry my new page controller one, because my I'm linking this. I can put any name here. This automatically links with this. When I'm clicking on save, what happens? So I'm clicking on control S. It's asking, hey, there is no new page controller in our system. There's error here, does not exist. Here it's asking me to showing some options here. As you are in developer mode, it's giving the option to you to create a two type of methods. One is public with sharing class book 9, this method, or public with sharing class book 9 dot my new controller. There is two type of with sharing and with by default without sharing. Okay. Okay. Now I can choose any of this option. I want to click on the first option. Why I'm seeing book 9 here? So for the apex classes, you're going to be appended with the book 9 directly attribute. There is no underscore here. Even with the same thing with the VF base also. Okay. Click on the first thing, so that you're going to create a public with sharing class my new page controller one. Okay. So now a class is created for you. This is a blank class. Okay. Without there is nothing here. This is what we are asked for, public with sharing. Okay. I will explain you about the security here, security option what you're seeing here. And you can write any code here, and you can initialize logic here. You can query some data from database, and you can print here on the screen in this VF page. Okay, so this is custom controller. You can write any type of logic. You can write a code by get. You can generally, if you click on training object, you're gonna see only training object records, right? And read a list of other child object of this. In this custom controller, you can do any type of thing. You can get the information of 4 or 5 objects at once, and you can display on the same page also. That's custom requirement. Okay. So people, if you kept as a developer, Salesforce developer, core developer, senior developer, they're gonna ask this type of requirements in custom controller. What you're going to can tell some requirement. What all the complex scenarios what you have done. Okay. Let's work on this later. Okay, and I'm just showing the options. This is a custom controller. There will be another class appended to this. This is the page, this is a class, linked class to this is the view state. This is common for all pages. What is a view state? This will show you how much data is loaded in this current page from the database. For suppose if you expand, so I have not expanded it, I have collapsed all the things. There is 1.61 KB in this current page, the data in the current page. Okay. For suppose if the data exceeds 135 KB, means the application will crash, because you are loading more data from the database and you're trying to show it here. So what happens, right? The page can only show It's a, they have Salesforce kept a limit 135% of the, sorry, 135 KB as a view state. If you're loading more than that data, right, it will show you some error. It will show you some error. Okay. Hey, hold on. So I need a minute. So this is available for both standard and custom pages. You can just check the how much data I have loaded and how much data is left for us. Okay. So again, you can disable this also. This is not required for the small pages. When you're working on complex requirements and you're trying to load some lot of data, in that cases you're going to use this. Okay. And and so let's move on to the VF tags, available tags, and later on we'll work on some examples directly on the go. This is the Apex guide. So this is the simple cheat sheet where you see every information in two-page document. When you're trying, when you're working on something, you just refer this stuff. You can see what is the exact meaning of select options, tag, all this stuff. Oh, this is really useful for starters. Okay. Um, the last class have shared about the miscellaneous tags also. I went to the next thing and I used to explain. I want to start from this is also I was done repeat tags. Let's start doing it from here. Okay, the repeat tag is useful for repeating the data. For suppose in Salesforce there is a list type of data. Okay, list data or some wrapper list of wrappers. What is a list? List is a repeat list of objects. If you want to repeat the list, if there are 20 items in that list, if I want to show 10 all 20 items in a list format, I use this repeat tag to repeat to parse one by one in the list and show the information. Okay, this is iteration component. You write only one time, this component will be repeated a number of times based on the number of data available in that, and you keep the number also 10 times, something like that. That will repeat 10 times and it will print the values on the screen 10 times. Okay. What is message tag? For putting some custom messages on screen saying, for suppose I said when you are writing the standard validation rules, you're going to print some messages, right? When you are doing the same thing in VF pages, you are not going to print standard messages there. You are going to print custom messages saying, if some guy is putting wrong data in their some field, you want to warn him with some message. There are different type of warnings. One is warning, one is a caution symbol, one is error. Some type of error message is there, type of errors also. I can show different type of errors with this message tag, apex message. This is a single message tag I can show at the field level or at the top of it. So generally people use apex messages, one simple tag to show all type of messages on top of it, on top of the page. Generally there will be save, cancel buttons top and bottom. Just before, just under the buttons which are on the top, you see the messages, what all there are messages what you have see. If there are some standard validation rules, it will show some errors there. It won't save the record. Okay, and include tag is useful for including a VF page. Okay, so we even seen the insert tag in earlier. The insert tag is useful for defining a, sorry, is useful for inserting the defined code inside the VF page. But this is inserting. Include tag is useful for including the VF page. Inserting is useful for simply inserting some code of some data, some code which is defined in apex colon include, sorry, define information. Okay, define tag. Parameters. These parameters are generally useful to pass parameters to the components. Generally, when you're developing a custom components, header, footer, and some widget type of thing is constant for all. for showing user information. Hi Venkat. So when you logged in as Venkat, you showing this type of information. Hi Venkat, this is your personal information, everything. And below that you want to see the some extra information. Each and every tab has different type of information, right? In this case, all the footer, header, and this information section will be common for all. What I will say is I will create a separate component for that, and I will insert this component here, and I will pass some parameters. What is the current user ID? Who is logged in as user? What is the username? By passing that user ID, I will pull the information of the user name, his details, and it will print there directly. Okay, I'll pass this user ID as a parameter. For this, will use this. Okay, and X control. If you have X controls in your machine, you can use it with this by inserting. For inserting X controls, you can use this. And is apex variable is a simple local variable you can create for storing some flags, numbered stuff. Okay, and coming back to look and feel, yeah, you see a lot of page blocks which we have already used there. When you are using page block, it automatically inherits the standard Salesforce CSS. Page block buttons, this is also standard. So generally you can directly create apex a colon button, a custom button. Oh, sorry. uh, if you come on the top, there is a command button is there. I can use this also. But if I use the command apex page block buttons, it automatically inherits some properties, the standard properties, and it will show you there. Page block button, this is a simple section. It's like a button component. Inside this I can put command buttons. This space block section is useful for grouping some data, some fields. Okay, so earlier we have seen in our page layouts we have created some separate sections for additional info section, payment section, address information sections, something like this. Same way you can create sections here in VF pages with this section item. There can be 6 items, 10 items inside this. Okay, it can be the fields also. So block section can be uh, a two two column section or one column section also. The same thing with in the page layout we have done that. Two column section, one column section. If it is one column section, I can place only one record in a row. Okay, if it is two column section, I can place two fields in a row. Same way, if it is two column section, page block section, I can put the number also. I can insert two section items in one row. And what is page block table? Page block table is useful for printing again the data or list of items. Same way. Okay, so if you have list of items, you're gonna use page block table and you will print each and everything in a table format. Page message, it's again used for custom messages. Apex message is generally useful for on the this is also useful for the same purpose. Both these things are useful for same purposes. Apex messages and apex messages. Okay, and coming back to Apex messages also displays all messages that are generated from the page from the controller class. You can add messages, so you can put some logic inside your Apex class saying, hey, if this flag equal to false, there is an error. Prints this message there. You can print such type of message dynamically in Apex VF page. Panel bar. Um, so this is simple like is a simple area that includes a panel bar item. Okay. Uh, So panel bar item is like it's a small section that you can expand and collapse actually. For suppose if you don't want to show some information by default, you can collapse that information. If you really want that map of your accounts, you can just open it and you can show it to the so collapsible type of section, a panel bar item. So these panel bar items will be included in a panel bar actually. You can have a number of panel bar items inside panel bar, expandable things. Okay, section header, a title bar for the page. Simply, I can put some top information with the simple title of the page. Apex tab and tab panel is useful for implementing tabs, sub-tabs inside the page. For suppose if you click on trainings, you want to show again sub-tabs inside it with multiple data inside each and every tab. online trainings, offline trainings. You want to put three tabs: online, offline, and mm, uh, personal training. Okay, you want to put three type of tabs with you can put tab panel first. What is tab panel? Tab panel is like a component. Inside this you can put tab, apex tab. You can put some name, it will display the name there. You have to put three, you have to use, for putting three tabs you have to use one tab panel. Inside it you have to use three tab, apex tab tags. Okay, and later on a toolbar. Okay, actually apex toolbar, um, so it can contain a number of child components. What is child components? These are all components, fields, all this stuff as a component. I can include this, embed into this toolbar, and I can reuse it repeatedly. So I can create a group also. Toolbar group is a group of components within a toolbar. So yeah, toolbar, uh, this will contain the child, means, yeah, this is the group of components. So you can group some components into a toolbar group. So let's see this. Actually I didn't use this stuff till today because there are some tags which are not useful, and I will show you the example to you after finishing this. Okay, I will prepare some example for you on this. I don't have even example also for this, and I will start trying this and I will let you know. Okay, coming to custom components, this is how the component, so earlier I am saying about the parameters passing to the component. This is a component, you pass some parameters here, and attributes, you can set the parameters to some attributes inside the component. A component body is like placeholder. You can insert a lot of information, some dynamic content or static content inside this component body. These are for building custom components. So later on you can even call the components with their c colon hello world. Hello world is a component you created, and you can put c colon hello world component. So you're going to insert this component in the current vf page if you're calling this. Okay, and sites. So Salesforce sites generally is useful for designing the front outside pages. So site.com is also a tool for publishing some content, web content. So here there are two type of site.com um, tags here. So if I add this tag site colon Google Analytics tracking, so this is useful to integrate your page with the Google Analytics. What is Google Analytics? So Google Analytics is a part of Google applications where I can use reporting like dashboards, different type of graphs from Google chart, and I can pass some data into that, and I can show the information on my websites, on my pages, VF pages. Okay, this is useful for that. Um, so I can preview, I can site preview as admin. So this option is for admins. So if you want to preview the complete system as admin to see a lot of data, you're going to use this parameter there. Means that guy can see, if it is in this page, the page users can see this complete page as an admin. Okay, and there are some messaging components here in view of page. So this stuff is useful for creating email templates. Okay, so we have just gone through email templates, and there is a third component called you can create, sorry, this is a fourth component. You can create email templates with vfps also. This is how you generally use these following tags to display some information in the email template. Okay, um, so if you want to insert some plain text, you're gonna use messaging dot plain text email body. And if you want to use html, you can use this html email body, and you can write html code inside it. Okay, and this will render automatically, and it will send a html emails to all the people. And email template, so this is the top representation. Okay, so when you are building email template, this you have to add at the top. Like similarly like apex page, you use messaging.email template, and I can put the name of that email, the Visual Force email template, and I can define each and everything there. Email header, email attachment. If there's any attachment, I have to link it. This is the tag for email attachment. I have to link it at the end. Appends an attachment to your current email. Even I can do this stuff even for the last time I have created a letterhead, right? Letterhead, and I have have embedded some data there. Hi, training email. This is the training registered, something like that. I have created some content, right? With that also, I can attach some static attachment or dynamic attachment also. Okay. For suppose a company HR is going to send some offer letters. He cannot write every offer letter of all the people, of all the 30,000 people he want to give offer letters. Okay. Big companies like Accenture, TCS, they will give thousands of offer letters to people, right? They can't create each and every offer letters on their own manually. They do this type of systems. They might be using some other system also. It automatically pulls the name, their salary automatically from the database, and it will automatically print generate a PDF or Word format, and it will attach automatically to the email, and they send automatically to all the people. They are not going to send one by one. Okay. If you are one candidate, they will do it individually. If there are thousands of candidates, they will do automatic messaging with this type of tools. Okay. And coming back to ideas, so Salesforce have a lot of other features, right? Charter ideas. They used to embed. Salesforce will is giving an option to us to embed this type of features directly into your VF pages. For suppose you can add the you can integrate your Salesforce ideas application into your VF page. You can take ideas directly from the current VF page also. Okay. So ideas detail output link. It's a link. It's a link to the idea. It will display the idea in your page. Okay. And list output link. It will display the list of ideas in your VF page. So again, this ideas should be in your current organization to show there. Okay. And ideas profile list output link. So this link will display the idea who means the person who created the ideas user profile. Okay. And coming back to knowledge, so again, knowledge is also a separate advanced like component, advanced module used in service cloud. What is generally people create knowledge for all the service articles and videos and setup guides, any type of presentations, all this stuff. They create this knowledge for helping customers. Okay. So for that, if you want to create a page for a service cloud users, for accessing every information of case solutions, knowledge, charting, ideas, charter on a single page, you have to use this type of components: ideas tag, knowledge tag. Knowledge article case toolbar is a UI, means it's a UI component to show the knowledge articles for the particular case. So when you open the case, right, if you have a subject saying problem with my iPad installation, it automatically, the knowledge module automatically queries the related type of articles in your system, and it will bring and show you there directly on the same page. It will help your customer care people to automatically link this attachment and send this attachment to the user who is facing the problem without wasting a lot of time in searching all this stuff. Okay. This is the advanced feature like of knowledge thing. And you can even see the list of articles which are similar to this case. So if the case is on installation of iPad, there might be 4 or 5 cases. I want to show the list of things there, that thing. And article render toolbar. So header. So this generally displays the header of the article. Simply some simple detail information of thumbnail information of that article. Okay. It will render that data in the knowledge toolbar only. Article type list. So so it will simply display the list of all article types. It's a list of article types. I mean, there can be R&D, support, service articles, all this stuff. Okay. And there can be categories also For displaying categories, knowledge colon category list will show you the list of all categories. So for suppose the case what the customer has raised is not linked with any article, and by seeing the case subject and email subject, you found that this belongs to R&D iPhone. Okay, R&D iPhone support. Then what you do, you generally go to the particular category which is shown for you with the knowledge colon category list. By clicking on that, you're gonna go with that category, and you can get the articles related with this category, and you can link this particular file or video or setup guide to this guy. Okay, and you can send this as attachment to the people saying, can you can fix this issue by following this file. Okay, that's a knowledge component. So you can integrate this stuff. They have given inbuilt tags. Generally, before some versions, there is no this type of tags. People generally, these guys are adding slowly for increasing your usability. They're decreasing the efforts of developer, and they're making more complex also for the developer who are joining these days, right? They have to learn many things: how to use knowledge tags, how to use idea tags, how to use charter feed, all this stuff. Again, when you're developing a custom components and charter, there is, so charter is really complex module where you see a lot of modules like following your feed, your followers, and if you click on follow button, you have to follow this. All these functionalities, if you want to write, it will take a lot of time for you. So they have created a separate inbuilt tags for you to do this. If you simply put charter colon feed in the VF page, it automatically show all your feed, current users feed. If Ramya is opening the page, Ramya's feed will be there. If Pallavi is opening the page, Pallavi's will be there automatically in the VF page. See, whenever I'm developing a system admin is developing a VF page in an organization, I can give this VF page access to a number of profiles. The profile users can access this page by clicking on this page link. They'll open a page, and they can see the data which they have access to in that page. Okay. Same thing. If you want to see the feed with followers, I can simply put directly this tag, charter colon. If you want to put so for suppose you opened a case record, you want to follow this record, you have built a custom component. So you have built a custom page for that. Simply by adding charter colon follow, you see the charter follow button there. By clicking on this, you can follow the charter thing. Okay, and if you want to see the charter followers, you can display the list of all charter followers by clicking on this. By using this tag, you can see the list of charter followers of the current uh, record what you have opened in the current screen. This is a workflow component, only one component. So this embeds the flow, uh, of this flow interview in the page. So I will try to show some example to this. I don't know how to explain this um, keyword. Let's move down to the global variables. What are global variables in Salesforce? Global variables are uh, are variables where you can access directly anywhere in the system. For suppose, if you log into your system, what is the username? What is user email? What is the user region? What is the user's manager? All this type of information is global information. Coming to the record data, like account data, what is the current account record name? That's not the global data because there are a number of records, thousand number of records. Okay, thousand number of accounts, 10,000 trainings, 40,000 participants. That's all not the global data. The global data is like it's generally unique, like a user information, who logged in user, what is the current user role, what is the current user profile. This is all global information which are useful. So where the developers can access this information directly anywhere by putting the symbol dollar symbol and profile. It will show you the profile name. Dollar symbol user, it will show the user information there. Okay, dollar user dot name means it will print the username there. For suppose in your refresh, if you want to print a current user login user, um, if you want to show the current login user, hi dollar Srikanth, if you put dollar Srikanth, it will print hi Srikanth there in your VF page. Okay, and if you want to show the time there, dollar There's one more module. um, 1 second. If you want to show the current page URL, dollar current page dollar current page dot name, or you can even call with parameters also. Dot current page dot URL, it will show you the URL of the page. You can even print the dates also by system dates. System dot origin date, dollar system dot date, it will show you the date, it will show you the origin date, or current date and time also. And even you see dollar page for referencing the current VF page, and you can even call the page also. If you want to know on what page you are currently, if you want to save the state of the page, for suppose when you have built a component of widget type of component, where there are step by step process for finishing some registration. If you have developed some 4 pages, step 1 is page 1, step 2 is page 3, step 2 is page 4. In that cases, you want to know the current page, there you can put dollar page, it will show you the current page of your system. Okay. And again, when you are clicking dollar organization, you can even print the organization information or organization name. It will print you the company name which is available in your company profile. Okay. Organization ID also you can print it. Sometimes you want to use the organization ID to raise some cases, all this stuff. That in that case you can directly print there. Org ID you can print object type. So what is the current object? You can even access the metadata of the object by using this dollar object type. And you can even use the labels also. I can explain the labels and the current page stuff in the later, in the development, advanced development examples. No, it will be confusion if I explain now. And actions, the global actions what are available, like save, edit, clone, cancel, delete options. Okay, this is reference to the standard actions in Salesforce. And again, dollar API will give you the API URLs available in Salesforce, and even the session IDs also. Okay. And coming back to the static resources, what are static resources? I already said you means I haven't said much. You can even insert images, static resources like CSS, JavaScript into your VF page. What you're going to do this? So earlier you go to your system and click on setup. There is a separate link called static resources. You will upload your CSS files or JS files or any images or logos there, for for which you want to access in VF pages. Click on dollar. There is static resources. This is static resources. You're going to upload some static resources here. See, there are some lot of static resources by our participants. You can upload GIF image, plain text, even GIF image, JavaScript image, JavaScript. No one uploaded CSS, it seems. CSS, yeah. And even you can do one thing also, you can group all the files, all the assets for your building your custom things in a folder, and you can upload that folder also, and you can reference it by putting some folder name hash, the file name dot png dot jpg dot pdf. You can even access the PDF files also. You can dot plain text. This is useful for coding. Only the developers are going to use the static resources. The other people, you use documents. Documents is a similar type of thing. For administrators, they can add the files in documents, and then you can use the logo there. For suppose I use this logo which is loaded in the documents folder. Go to the documents. We have done it while creating the application. Okay, do you remember it? This is the documents. Oh, docs is there. Yeah, this is rename to docs document folder. So this is somehow you can same way you can upload some images, all this stuff. This is only useful for simple images or stuff and files. Okay. Sorry, static resources are generally useful for developers to embed some. If you want to embed some CSS, JavaScript, or image files into your VF page or logo files, you have to upload it in static resources and you have to use it. So that will be generally stored in cache. I mean, whenever you're loading some um, whenever you're trying to load some content or something from your UF page, it will generally load very faster when compared to the object data. Okay. So coming back to static resources is done. So I can even see, I can even add the zip folders also. Here image is zip folder. Here I'm using something like this. Dollar resource dot text zip is the zip folder what I have zipped into, and inside it there is again a folder called images. After that there is a file called blue.jpg. Okay, if you are uploading a zip file, you are going to access like this. Otherwise you can directly put resource dot the file name and even the image file name dot jpg. Okay, and action supports apex support functions. So apex, so the vf page is having separate functions to um, support apex. So here are the apex classes, some action. So from apex sorry, from visual force page tag apex colon page tag, you can even call an action in the class. It's called action. If you put action equal to, and in the double quotes you have to give the action name there, with the curly braces and exclamation mark and action name, so it will call that action on that page load. Okay, same thing. um, this is useful for creating error messages inside apex support. Okay, page reference, it will show you the current page in the apex to access. So generally people get the parameters of the current page in the apex by using page reference method. Okay, it will get to the current page and current object also. Select option, select option you can add, useful for generating the pick list items inside in vf pages. So these are all options you are going to link with apex. Standard controller, standard set controller. Okay, standard controller I have already used it to link with any object. Standard set controller is useful for accessing the list of records in an object. Okay, it will load all the records like 10 to 20 records, and it will show in a page. You can even go by clicking on next, you can access all the records of that object. Select option is useful for selecting select boxes, all this stuff. You generally use this type of uh, names here for in apex also to access this. Right, okay, let's move on to our apex guide. This is also really having a cheat sheet of 4 pages. This explains you every important um, methods and keywords inside Salesforce, and even triggers also. It has triggers, annotations, reserved keywords, important reserved keywords and annotations, primitive types in Salesforce and collections, trigger context variables, again data manipulation, language operations, standard interfaces, some schedule standard Salesforce interfaces where you can call that interface and you can implement some functionalities there. These are advanced stuff. Um, and these are standard class and methods available in Salesforce. You can for getting and showing some data there. Okay. Similarly, like other objects, you see most of the keywords same, abstract keyword. Okay. So this generally useful for in describing the class, public abstract class foo. So this is a foo is a class name. So this generally describes the this is abstract method that only have signature, and there is no body for this current method. Okay, so this is abstract method you might be knowing in Java. Okay, and the break keyword is useful for breaking the current loop. It will throw out of the loop if if you run this break command, it will completely throw out of the loop. Okay, and you can see even try catch type of options here in apex. Same thing you can use in Java also. This is for error handling, try and catch. You can even add the exception here by printing some message here. Generally, people add apex messages here in the catch block. If there's error in try block, it will be thrown out there and it will add some message here. You will generate some message here and it will add it to your VF page. So all this stuff is written in the sorry, in the apex classes. Okay, in the controller part. Um, this is the definition of class, private class. Okay, and here I'm describing the keywords. And continue keyword useful for continuing. So break and continue is literally opposite way. So break is for breaking the loop and going on to the next level. Continue is for continuing the loop. So if I click on if the condition is true, this will be continued again. It will go to the next loop. Okay, I plus plus loop. Okay, the next loop with incremented number. So do loop, do while loop. So first of all, do while loop is useful for executing the list of commands in the do loop at least once. Again, at the end of this loop, if the while condition is true, again this will be executed. So in the do while, only at even though the condition is not true, it will be executed once. If the condition is working, it will execute a number of times until this condition is executed. What happens here? First of all, if counter is equal to 1, this will be executed one time. Later on, if the counter obviously count plus plus will become 2. Okay, now this will be executed one more time, 3 4 times, 10 times it will be executed, totally 11 times. The system.debug will be printed there. First time and next 10 times will be printed there. Okay, and coming back to this is similar to the if loop also. I can do the same thing with if loop. I can put an integer count equal to 1, and if if count less than or equal to 11, and I can put the same loop inside our in the if loop also. Okay, else loop, if else loop, you might be knowing this. If the condition is false in the if condition, it will be going to the else loop. Enum is like a is a enumeration type on on a different set of values. So for suppose if you want to define some seasons in your class, generally there will be only 4 seasons. Okay, winter, spring, summer, and fall. You can define this as a type, enumeration type for season. Like season is an enumeration type, and you have only 4 type of values in this season. Okay, if some guy is entering some bad values like Jan or Feb, it will throw some error to you. Okay, this will accept only 4 type of values here. Okay, so you can set the season also, like season e equal to season dot winter. This will automatically set the value e equal to winter now. So the winter season is automatically set by this enumeration type. Extending is generally helpful for implementing the inheritance concepts in Java. You see inheritance, right? You can extend some class. For suppose there is automobile is a general class. Automobile can be anything. A four-wheeler can be automobile. A two-wheeler is automobile. And automobile will generally have some properties. It has general motor. It will generally accept some fuel. It generally have a steering. All this stuff. General automobile will have these properties. And if you come to the car, the core object will be generally extending the properties of automobile. It will add some more new features in the car, like it has four-wheeler, it can four people can accommodate it. In the bike structure, so you can have 2 wheels. That's a different thing. But all these cars, lorry and motorcycle will have the properties of the automobile. Okay, it has motor in both in all the three missions. That's for extending the inheritance type of concept here. Okay, and false. So boolean, so this is a boolean variable. So it's true and false are the boolean variable values inside Salesforce. Yeah, and the final keyword you might be needing, so it defines the constants, and you cannot override this value. Okay, finally, This is the option available in try catch execution only. So if there's an error in try, it will go with catch. And finally, if you want to execute some code, if you want to show some debug logs there, you're gonna put finally block. It's the extension of catch. Okay, try catch finally. Okay, and for loop you might be knowing this. This is the most used uh, loop code in Salesforce. If loops and for loops are really basic things you use a lot of this type of stuff. There are multiple formats of for loops, putting integer and incrementing number for a number of times to repeat a number of times constantly. That's one type of for loop, and this is a different type of for loop. So I have given integers of 189 and I'm incrementing three times. Okay, this is a different for loop. This loop will increment it three times. This is an array of integers, and this integer will repeat three times, and this will debug. What is system.debug is a print statement. Similarly, this is for debugging. You are printing the data available in I a number of times. If for loop is executing four times, the system.debug will execute four times and it will display, it will print four times. Okay, here the output is 189 in this debug log. Here it's a string, definition is a string s equal to acme, and here this is a different type of for loop where you are going to parse the list of account records. For suppose account have 80 account records starting with s name. Okay, what is this for loop where name like s plus percentage mark means it's going to get all the accounts starting with s. Okay, if there are 20 account records starting with yes, like Sonoma, Sonia, or Sony, some type of things, it will print all the names. The for loop will be executed 20 times. How many number of account names starting with yes, that number of times it will be executed. Okay, sorry, extremely sorry. So yes is not a string, here it's a variable. Yes is like Acme. For suppose Acme is a big company. Acme have Acme Limited Private Limited, Acme India Private Limited, Acme Australia Private Limited. If there are 10 number of type of starting with Acme, then this will work. This will print the, this loop will execute a number of times. Means Acme if the account name should start with Acme, and it can be anything: Acme Limited, Acme Private Limited, or Acme Consultancy Private Limited, Acme India Private Limited, that type of thing. A number of times it will print everything there. Okay. Here I thought is S is a simple string, but it's not a string. It's a string. It's a variable actually. String variable. It's not a simple letter character. Okay. If we put colon here, it will print the names starting with S letter. Global keyword, generally global keywords are useful, generally useful when you are writing a global classes. So these classes can be called by the external systems and they can get some data with the global classes. Okay, you generally use public classes inside your Salesforce, very few times private classes, and most of the times you generally write public classes. When you want to give some information to the outside systems and vendors, you're going to write some global classes and web service methods to expose some data to other people. And if loop, this is if loop is again the common if loop. Simple condition you're gonna put, if that is true, you're gonna execute the statements inside the curly braces. If you're not putting curly braces, it will only run only one statement after the if loop. Okay, after that it won't be considered as a if loop. If loop statements, implements is like it's you're gonna implement some type of, you're going to extend some data. He extends is the simple thing. Extend is for inheritance, implements is for polymorphism. So you're going to implement some exist already existing class or handler or some type of process methods. You can implement that. Okay, so for suppose messaging inbound handler is the messaging class already given by Salesforce people for running email messages, handling email messages inbound, handling input messages and sending email messages outside. So now here, if you want to do operations on sending emails and messages, you're going to extend that messaging inbound email handler and you are going to call that methods inside this apex class. Okay, That's useful when you're trying to implement this. Okay, you're going to implement this class and use the features of that email inbound handler. Okay, and instance of, so this generally verifies that the current runtime object is the instance of particular class or not. Okay, you can check whether it's true or false. Is this instance of this current report or not? Okay, and again the interface keyword. So this defines this interface can be implemented. Okay, all these interface methods can be implemented by another class. So this can extend some another interface. Okay, interface methods can extend also another interface classes. So you see these keywords even in Java also. This interface abstract implements extends all features, are mostly you have everything which are similar to Java. Let's do work on this requirements one by one. I think you have very few examples and you're gonna use very less features of interface stuff. Implements and actions you're gonna use a lot in your system. And coming back to, I want to important reserve keywords. I want to finish it today, and let's do the class in the tomorrow. Okay. New keyword. So whenever you are initializing a new object inside Salesforce, you're going to call this. So foo is a object. Think it's a object. Okay. Foo f equal to new foo. I'm calling this foo method, and I'm initializing it. I'm creating a new method. Okay. New object here. So null value, all the values which are not initialized will be automatically assigned to null value. Okay. um, so you can even override some methods by using override keyword. So this override keyword is definitely, it defines a property of overriding another class. Okay, and so which can be implemented or extended. Okay, so override, you can override some existing methods with this override keyword. And the private keyword is useful generally to make some variables private which are really having security issues. For suppose if you want to make some variables, if you don't want to give access to the public website, for suppose like pin numbers, something like this, you can show that variables here. And these variables are useful generally for accessing inside that method only, inside that class only. Okay, inside this class only it will be accessible. If you cannot access this outside this, protected components are only accessible in their inner classes, all this stuff. Same thing you can see in Java also, right? These options are really same. This is only available to the any other inner classes inside in the Apex classes. Okay, public keyword you can access anywhere in the same page, in the same class you can access anywhere. And so return valuable. So when your method is having a return variable called integer, you have to return a value. If you're putting void here, there's no need to return some value. Okay, if you are putting decimal, public decimal, some method name, so at the end of this complete processing you have to return a decimal value, otherwise it will throw some error, right? You should return a value. Okay, or else you don't want to do anything return, you want to return at least null also. If you put some integer, decimal, void, string, anything, you have to do some return value here except void. Okay, static keyword is useful to it's useful to define a method or like a variable, um, which can be only initialized once. Okay, and can be generally used for and can be generally useful for many times for calling initialization. Okay, so these are I can say these are like one time initialized methods. And so generally the super keyword is generally it will make this current class a super class, and it invokes a constructor on a super class. Okay, So we'll try this example. So I think let's do this. This generally invokes constructor in the superclass and a superclass. And coming back to text method. So what are test methods? So after finishing your code, after developing your code in Apex, you have to test with the coding only. You have to pass some parameters by initializing it in the same in the test class, and you have to get the results properly. The expected results you should be equal to the actual results, and you have to validate it with that format. There are system.asset type of methods inside Salesforce where you're going to compare the expected values with the actual values what they are getting from the system. Okay, these system methods are really useful for getting the code coverage. So whenever after doing some Apex, right, you need to build the code coverage to deploy the code what you have developed into the production organization. You need some code coverage that should be more than 75%. Okay, if your code coverage is less than 75%, you cannot deploy the code to your production organization. Your complete code is waste. Means you have to do compulsory. You have to do the code coverage. You have to make it more than 75%, and later on you have to deploy the code. Otherwise, it won't allow to deploy the code. This keyword it represents the current instance of the class. Okay, and throw throw is for throwing an exception, and you can throw some new exceptions, all this stuff. It's in the exception class. It generally in try catch method you can use it. Transient keyword is useful to reduce the view state inside VF pages. So generally these variables cannot be saved, and so that's the reason this will reduce the Visual Force view state. It will save some memory for you to load some data. Okay, when your view state is reaching your 135 KB, you have to reduce it, right, by putting some transit variables inside your Apex class. This is how you generally keep. Now this variable is not going to be saved inside the view state. Okay, important trigger. So this trigger keyword is useful for writing Apex triggers, and this is the simple trigger on account object. I'll show this. So these triggers are generally useful to do. So for suppose you're doing some actions on workflow rules, on some action you're doing something, right, on trigger insert. So this is the extension to your workflow rules. Workflow rules can do only actions till some extent. Okay, if you want to do advanced operations, if you want to do multiple add-on operations with on Salesforce, you have to write some triggers. Okay, you can do a lot of advanced stuff with triggers. This is the Apex, written on Apex coding only. This is the extension to your workflow rules. And true keyword is again a boolean value. So you can set some try value is again. It's an exception thing. Try catch block. We have already seen this. Web service keyword is useful for writing web services inside Salesforce for sharing some content to the external systems. Okay, and do while. So I see the do while loop also. Do while is a different loop, and while is a different loop. While, so in the do while, right, it's at least runs system.debug at least once, even though the condition is not true, because the condition is at the bottom in the do while case. In the while case, if the count is equal to is already 12, right, this won't be executed. This will also be executed till 11 10 times. It's one here. It's executed 10 times because it's one here, and this is incrementing every loop. It increments and it will execute till 11 times. Sorry, till count number equal to 10. If the count number equal to 11, this will be out of this, because 11 is not less than 11. 11 equal to 11. Okay, and what is with sharing keyword? We generally use this with sharing keyword when I'm creating a class just now before you from custom controller. What is with sharing? So when you are using with sharing keyword in your public class, okay, what happens? Generally, training is in the private sharing model. I have created 40 trainings. Pallavi has created around 30 trainings. Anita created 20 trainings. Randir created 40 trainings. So if it is public sharing, if I am running the class in public class and some class name, I can see all the 120 130 records in the system. If I'm running public with sharing class, means it will only show my data, it won't show all the data. Public, if I'm not including with sharing class, this will run the page on the system mode. System mode means system admin mode. System admin mode means you can see all the data. If you're adding public with sharing class, means you're going to see only your data in this current page. It's going to execute all your sharing rules before getting loading some data into your page. Okay, without sharing is also same, because this is the default mode. Okay, whenever you're not putting any data, public class name, this automatically means it automatically takes without sharing only. This also ensures that the sharing rules of the current user are not enforced. Okay, it won't enforce the sharing rules, it will share all the data to you. Okay, and virtual keyword, so this makes this class a virtual class. Um, so generally if you put virtual class, you cannot override. um, so you cannot override the class unless it's a virtual, uh, which if it is having virtual keyword. Okay, you should at least you should have a virtual keyword to override this class. Okay, to override this class. And let's close the session for today. We'll discuss the annotations in the tomorrow class after finishing. So there is two more pages for us. After finishing this, sorry, two more, not two more pages, more than this. We have two more pages: the annotations, parameters, primitive types in Salesforce. What are primitive types? These are general data types in Salesforce: blob, decimal, boolean, string, data type, data type, decimal, a long character, string, time, id, integer. So these are generally common for all the languages. And collections are really important in Salesforce. We'll discuss this thing. This is an important topic again. Please join tomorrow's class. Okay. Later on, out of the standard Salesforce interfaces and their methods, all this stuff. After finishing this, let's move to the coding examples. I do share the coding examples directly in the class, and even share in chatter also. You can download these things and you can keep it with you for future practice work. And I think like I'm expecting all all of you should try after the class, simple, at least with the simple tags and stuff. You try on your own requirements, or you can try on the same requirements what I've explained in the class, so that you'll get a lot of questions. You try on your own, you will get a lot of questions, and you see the example, see the code, and even follow the same way what I've done there. Okay,